Hi, and welcome to the Theme Park Duo podcast. Grab your park map, churro, and hop in line with us as we take you on a coast-to-coast adventure through the world of theme parks, haunts, conventions, and more. Now, here's your hosts, Nikki and Gabriel.
Hey, all you theme park goers, and welcome back to another episode of the Theme Park Duo podcast. I'm Gabe.
And I'm Nikki.
And we are
the Theme Park Duo.
So we are testing something out right now. This is definitely in the test phase, in the beta phase, if you will. We are testing recording with our new Zoom microphone. So I don't know if the audio is going to be better or worse or anything, or if it's going to even get posted. Who knows? But definitely let us know if you like the way it sounds.
Or don't. That's fine. Because I want to record in luxury on a couch. I don't want to be at Gabe's computer anymore. So keep your opinions to yourself.
You heard it here first. We don't care. I definitely care. Nikki doesn't care. I care because I spend countless hours making sure the audio sounds okay. And sometimes I hear something and I'm like, oh God, it's not perfect. It's so bad. And nobody else says anything. So I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that hears it, but no, we definitely care about the way the show sounds. But anyway, welcome to the Theme Park Duo podcast. Hope all of you are doing well, stocked up with your toilet paper and your paper towels during this quarantine season because of the coronavirus.
I hope you haven't eaten all of your snacks. I hope you're watching lots of theme park videos online to help you through this time. We're going to be posting a few ourselves in the near future, which we'll talk about later.
Exactly. What is it? What is it now? Like week 3 of quarantine?
3 or 4.
Someone please help me. We're out of toilet paper and Nikki is becoming unbearable.
That is not true. We are fully stocked on toilet paper.
Thank you for clarifying. Yes, that is the truth. Anyway, a couple things we want to talk about before getting into the main topic of the episode today, which is, if Disney were to make a haunt, what movies, shows, or properties would they use to build them? So Nikki and I have come up with lists of our own. We don't know what are on each other's lists. And we have 3 mazes and 2 scare zones based on Disney properties.
I have 3 mazes and 3 scare zones. I couldn't stop myself. And I have a few runners up.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, I have a list, and I'm really excited to go over this. But before we jump into things, if you guys haven't done it already, make sure you head on over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star written review, or just a review in general, or just even a rating. It always helps out the show. It makes it easier for people to find us and enjoy us like you are right now. And speaking of which, we have another 5-star written review to share here on the show. Remember, if you do so, we will share your review here on the show like I'm about to do right now. So it was titled Love the Insight by Instructor Hearth. Great podcast. Love the insight about the theme parks. It's so important to listen to a variety of different podcasts to get information about the parks before you go. Keep up the great work. Diz His podcast. So this is from another podcaster, which I took a listen to the Diz His podcast, and it's actually quite fun. They cover pretty much just Disney history, and it's really, really informative. Cool. So thank you very much for leaving that review, and make sure you guys all head over and leave a review as well. Something Nikki and I definitely wanted to jump into, and didn't really want to do a whole podcast on it, just because we're trying hard to kind of focus on escapism, if it were, as you want to call it that. But kind of the state of theme parks once everything reopens.
So you want, my opinion on what's going
to No, I don't want your opinion at all. I just put the mic in front of your face and set you up just for you just to heavy breathe into the microphone.
Awkward. Okay, well, I guess if we're talking about what we think is going to happen, once things reopen, I think that not much is going to change. I think people might be more careful for a while, washing their hands more and whatnot. But I think in general, people are just going to go back to normal eventually. We humans, we have a tendency to forget. So, yeah, I don't think much will change. And I don't know if that's a Debbie Downer opinion or what, but that's what I feel.
I don't necessarily disagree. I definitely think that people are going to forget eventually and go back to doing the rail licking and the glass licking and all of the other stuff that we've seen all over social media. But I do have to say that when the parks do reopen, I do think there's going to be an adjustment period, just because the people who have gone to theme parks so often, like ourselves or our friends, there are so many little things that we do at theme parks that I don't even think we all think about it, because it's just second nature at that point. You know, pulling down the restraint bar over your shoulders or, you know, onto your lap, pulling the yellow tab on the seat belt, you know, touching the railings everywhere, touching the steering wheel of the Indiana Jones car or something, you know, literally everything you can imagine. There's so small things that we don't even think about. I think it's going to be kind of interesting to go back and be, oh, I just touched like 10 things. Do I need to sanitize my hands right now? Like, what do I do?
You just gave me anxiety over those yellow tabs. Think about how many people touch those yellow tabs in a day.
And they force you to touch them.
Yeah, exactly. You can't avoid it.
Pull my yellow tag.
That's awkward. But
pull it 3 times.
I'm just saying now, like, if we do go back for, I guess, a short period of time, before I lose my memory of it, I think I'm going to be washing my hands after every ride, or at least having hand sanitizer with me.
No, yeah, and then even, like, everybody hugs characters, so, you know, people's germs are on the characters, and then, you know, sitting into an amphitheater to watch, like, Muppet Vision, or PhilharMagic, you know, the armrests, or anything, the 3D glasses you have to put on. There's so much stuff that we really don't think about when it comes to those theme park experiences that I think it's going to cause a little bit of a weird hiccup in the process of getting back to normal. Even outside of the theme park realm, just themed entertainment, when you think about it, haunts are like, you are completely in enclosed areas with hundreds of people in multiple experiences. And I think that's going to be drastically changed, or at least affected in some particular way, when things do start to come back up and running. Because everyone's talking about whether or not haunts are going to be affected. You know, Halloween Horror Nights 30, Scary Farm, Fright Fest, or anything like that. Or even smaller, nuanced experience like Creep LA, or I almost said the Blue Blade. Interactive plays and things like that, Zombie Joe's, that kind of stuff. Those things are going to be affected.
I think, yeah, I just think it'll take a period of adjustment for not just theme parks, but I think for life in general. Even just a normal trip to Target or wherever, I think people are going to, you know, be thinking about it a little bit more carefully than they would have before all of this happened.
Yeah, and then also, my mind immediately goes to conventions. It's literally the exact opposite of the situation you want to be in right now, is with a bunch of people in a very small enclosed area, breathing the same air. I want to see how that world is going to change after all this stops. You know, whether or not they're going to continue to provide either hand sanitizer or put out washing stations to wash your hands more often. Are they going to be taking people's temperatures going into places? I even know that Bob Iger mentioned taking people's temperatures before they're coming into the park, which, this is just my personal opinion on that suggestion. I think it's absolutely stupid. Yeah. I think it's so incredibly dumb to do that for multiple reasons, and these are my opinions only. But this is what I'm thinking. One, you take someone's temperature. If we're talking about COVID-19, we're talking something that doesn't show up for 2 weeks. So somebody could come to the parks, not have a temperature, and be infecting everybody. So taking someone's temperature literally does nothing. The only reason why people were doing it initially at the beginning of all of this was because we didn't understand it at all. So,
could you imagine a security line, a temperature line, and getting in through the turnstiles? Oh my gosh.
No, that sounds absolutely horrid. And then on top of that, the people who have a high temperature normally, you know, people tend to run hot. I run hot all the time. So if they say you can't have a 99 or above and I have a 99, I'm not sick, or at least I know I'm not sick, then they send me away. The line for like City Hall is going to be down the street, or even just like phone calls for customer service is going to be absolutely insane, of people saying, I've spent money, you know, flying here. I've spent money at home making sure everything's settled, and now I'm here and I'm paying for the hotel, and now you're not letting me in because I have a 1 degree higher temperature. It just seems like that is not a solution that is feasible in this world, because one, there's a tendency of people to complain and want more than they are accustomed to getting, just because that's how people are. But then also people who are spending their money want to have the experience that they're spending their money for, and you can't turn them away like that. So there needs to be a different way of going about this situation, which I don't have the solution. So I'm bitching and moaning about the solution that they're presenting, but I don't have a solution that could be presented right now.
The solution is just, I think it's just going to be everyone just try to still be careful, and I think for the next year or so, we'll see, more precautions being taken, like at conventions, maybe more hand sanitizing stations, more things like that, maybe having things spread out a bit more. And, so I think people will be a little bit more conscientious for a while and try harder for a while. But like I said at the beginning of this, I think people will forget eventually, and then we'll just go back to normal. It's going to happen.
So it's honor system, people. Make sure you're not sneezing into your hands or sneezing into the open air and things of that nature. Just be good people. With that being said, we have a couple theme park news things that we want to jump into in the Theme Park Bulletin. First up on the Theme Park Bulletin, we have a COVID-19 update from Universal Parks and Resorts. So Universal Parks and Resorts sent out an email to everybody regarding their closure and other information of that nature, and I will read you the email that they sent out to everybody right here. We are extending the closure of Universal Orlando Resort and Universal Studios Hollywood at least through May 31st as we continue to respond to current conditions and make the health and safety of team members and guests our top priority. This includes our theme parks and Universal City Walk at both destinations. The Universal Orlando Resort hotels have also temporarily suspended operations through this time period. We will continue to monitor the situation and make adjustments as needed based on guidance from health agencies and government officials. In addition, we have communicated with our team members today and have this to share. Taking care of our team members during this difficult and challenging time remains one of our most important priorities. We are working hard to find solutions that are also allow us to sustain our business. Our team members will be paid at 100% through April 19th, but as we enter the more prolonged closure period, we need to take additional measures. Beginning April 20th, nearly all of our team members will be paid at 80% of their pay, and we will ask them to adjust their work accordingly. A small group of team members will be asked to continue working at 100% and will continue to be paid at that level. We have also made the difficult decision that we will furlough our part-time hourly workers beginning May 3rd. During this time, we will fully cover the cost of benefit plans for those team members who have them. All of these team members remain in our thoughts, and while we don't know when, we look forward to returning them to work one day. So it sounds like they're trying their best to really make a good situation out of a really shitty situation.
Yeah, and I think 80% after the 20th, I think that's really generous.
It's definitely generous. I mean, honestly, they don't have to do that at all.
Yeah, and I mean, that's still a pretty high percentage and completely livable, for those people. And I think it's just really good. It's a really good move on their part.
I mean, it definitely makes them look good, for sure. I mean, it's difficult because it is a business first. It's business first. But you also have to worry about, as a business, you have to worry about perception to the public and how you look. So I definitely think that has a lot to do with it. But I also do feel that the people who are running Universal are just genuinely good people, it feels like, and actually care about the people who run their parks, who run everything, who are the feet on the ground doing the grunt work and the dirty work. So it's really nice to hear that they are providing pay to those people for a good chunk of time. I mean, the furlough situation, there's not really much we could do about that. I mean, that's going to happen, and it sucks. I mean, I got laid off, so I understand the feelings that a lot of people are having, but at least you're just furloughed, and that you aren't completely losing your job. You at least you have a job to go back to when things go back to normal. So I guess there is a slight silver lining to that situation.
Yeah, I mean, they can go on unemployment. It's not the end of the world. There are measures being taken to help people in their situation. So, we're all in this together. We're all in the same boat, and we'll make it through.
Exactly. And the next piece of news we wanted to jump to was something that ThinkWell, a lot of the people who actually help design and create attractions, put out a holiday at home activity book, which we thought would be really fun, especially since this past Sunday was Easter, and a lot of people are at home, really not going anywhere. They're staying in their homes, so they have this fun new activity book for families to involve themselves with. So it says, as experience designers, we think Wellians think a lot about the guest's perspective, whether it be for a theme park, museum, corporate experience, or live spectacular. Usually our design work is for large public gatherings, but we're all indoors now during this troubling time, thinking about how to best spend our hours creating experiences in the home. With springtime holidays upon us, we wanted to focus our attention on your experience of cherishing family traditions and memories that make Easter and Passover special. We hope that these fun family crafts and activities will enliven your spring holidays, make them your own, and make them unique and enjoy. And then they ask for you to post photos and videos of your work on social media using hashtag ThinkWellAtHome and ThinkWellHolidays at Home to see what others have come up with. So if you head on over to thinkwell.com, or if you look up their Twitter, Facebook, and things of that nature, you will find a link to the Holidays at Home activity book. And just want to throw that out there, especially because, everyone's at home, like they said, not really doing a whole bunch, trying to figure out what to do, and I think this is a good idea.
No, that's really fun. Yeah, we all need ideas to, keep our minds occupied. We can only binge watch The Office so many times, so.
Nikki's on the 17th.
This week.
That's not possible. Literally, it's not possible. I don't know what she's doing with her time. We have a 1-year-old at home. I don't know why I'm whispering, because she's like right here. I don't think she can hear me.
In all honesty, we don't watch TV.
Well, I mean, we don't watch TV. The TV is on because we have a 1-year-old and we're stuck indoors. And if we don't distract her at some point, we will literally go insane.
Yeah. No, I mean to say that, all day long, it's like Monsters, Inc. and Elena of Avalor. And then as soon as she goes to bed, we fall asleep. That's it. I mean, we watch Jersey Shore, and that's it.
We have to go mindless. Mindless TV. There's no way other than that right now. I can't take anything serious.
Exactly.
So, moving out of the theme park duo, we are finally getting to the lists that we have built.
The theme park duo? Moving out of the theme park duo?
No, moving. Did I say that?
Yep.
Oh, whoops. Mind, brain, fart. No. Moving out of the theme park bulletin is what I meant. Yeah, I'm moving out of the theme park duo. It's going to be theme park solo now.
That's awkward.
Gabe only doing the show.
Bye.
Anyway, so we have our list ready to go. We have 3 mazes and 2 scare zones, and whatever runners-up we have for either one of those. So I'm gonna let you go first, Nikki. Do you want to do mazes first? Do you want to bounce back and forth? How do you want to do this?
Let's do scare phones.
Oh, scare phones! Brand new scare phones for 2020.
I feel like that was in a movie or something.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
In Halloween Town 2 or Halloween Town something, I know they talked on frogs or zombie heads or something.
They were shrunken heads. It was, instead of a cell phone, I think it was called a scare phone.
Scare phone. Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, let's do scare zones first and then go to mazes. I have 3 scare zones.
Okay, I have 4 scare zones, but obviously I'm only going to choose 2 of them.
Okay.
Because there's only 2, and then we have 2 runners up. So
okay.
You can go first.
Okay, my first one is kind of a rogue one. It's like one that I just felt like I had to put on my list because I love it so much. But also I think it would be a fun scare zone. And if they promote it before, they could get people to watch the movie and stuff if they wanted to. So my first scare zone is Return to Oz.
Hey, that was one of my runners up.
I just think it'd be so much fun. You could have wheelers running around. You could have that big pumpkin head guy and that little metal clock man. I just think it would be so much fun.
No, that movie was absolutely terrifying in more ways than one. You could have a witch that's carrying her head in her arms or something, and have a glass case full of heads or something like that. That would be super cool. But no, that was definitely on my runner-up list. That movie in and out of itself is very nightmarish. So I think it lends itself to being a scare zone because of the environments, because of the characters, and just the overall tone of the movie.
Yeah, it would definitely need to be a scare zone because of the wheelers, and I'm sure they could figure out how to have them running around or wheeling around, you know, and then you could have a scare zone that's like that. I know that they flew around in like the sleigh with like the moose head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they could have like that as a photo op. I think it'd be fun. It's weird, and it's something that would never happen, but it's on my list because a girl can dream.
Hey, this entire episode is about dreaming because none of this shit's gonna happen. Ever. This is never gonna happen. At least I don't think it'll happen. Who knows? It's dreaming. We're dreaming here. What's the song from Tangled? I have a dream.
Yeah, that one.
We watched a lot of that too, so that's
Yeah.
been stuck in my head as well. I'm malicious, mean, and scary. My snark Carl Dairy.
And violence-wise, my hands are not the cleanest. Okay, let's.
Yeah, this isn't the singing podcast. Anyway, my scare zone, the first one I'm going to go with a classic Disney thing first, because this is all Disney. I think it would be really fun to have a black and white Silly Symphonies skeleton dance scare zone.
That'd be really fun. That'd be super cute. I am for it.
Yeah, for me, like, it wasn't necessarily just about the visuals, because you could definitely do the black and white lighting. You could have skeletons everywhere that are kind of moving and dancing. You could have Mickey Mouse running around the scare zone. But it's also very musical. I mean, like, Silly Symphonies was all really based on the music, and having that music throughout the area, wherever you want to do it, would make a really fun environment.
Yeah, no, I'm totally for that. I like it.
So that is my first one.
Okay, so my second scare zone is Hocus Pocus. And I think this would be really fun because I forgot why.
Oh, yeah, totally. Let me just put this on my list, but I don't know why it's on my list. I just have it on my list because I like the sound of it.
No, well, now there's just another movie in my head because we talked off recording, and so now I'm off air. I wanted to say off camera, but we're not on camera, thank goodness.
That you know of.
What? Is this the real scare zone? No,
It's a scare zone where you're put into a bed and record a podcast and are recorded without your knowledge.
oh my god, terrifying. No, but it's Hocus Pocus because it's a fun Halloween themed movie, and I think it would be really fun as a scare zone because you could have the Sanderson sisters, you know, running around or performing. You could have Benny. You could have a whole like graveyard scene, or even through those tunnels, you know, where they're trying to escape, and you know, it's just there's a lot to work with.
You have Billy, you have Zachary Binks.
Yeah.
You could even rebuild their cabin and have like the black flame candle like sitting in the window as just kind of like a nod to like that whole entire thing.
Yeah, and you could totally just have trick-or-treaters running around, you know, because it all takes place on Halloween. You could have Ice and what's his friend's name? I forgot his friend's name, but you know.
I don't remember his friend's name at all. I just remember Ice because he shaved into the back of his head.
Shaved in his head, yeah. So you could have them running around with like a pair of sneakers, like, you know, just, you know, there's so much you could do. So
What if you have the old man dressed as the devil, and then every now and again you have the Sanderson sisters be like, "Oh my goodness, master."
you could go trick-or-treating at his house, and he could just hand you candy.
No, that's really funny. I think that's actually a really fun idea. So, I mean, like, Magic Kingdom already does something very similar to like a show with the Sanderson sisters and they sing and they do with this whole thing. So it would be almost like an extension of that. So in my mind, I imagine it on Main Street at Magic Kingdom. Like this entirety of this experience would be on Main Street, and then like the show would happen at the castle.
Yeah, totally. You could still have the show. It could be like a dance party, like they're putting a spell on you. So yeah, it's totally doable.
Hey, Nikki,
Yes?
you're putting a spell on me.
Oh, I see what you did there. Because now you're mine. But you already were, so.
Yep.
Bum.
Oh, jeez. You scared me.
Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, my next scare zone, I went a little bit darker. I went definitely darker. And it's this movie that I'm taking this from isn't in its entirety. It's not actually a scary film at all, but this one portion of the film and a portion of its ride is very dark. It's very scary, and it always freaked me out. And that scare zone would be Salt Mine Donkeys from Pinocchio.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of Pinocchio. But yeah, that's super creepy. That totally works.
So Scary Farm did something very, very similar to this back in the day. Not back in the day, maybe like 5 years ago or 6 years ago or something like that. I don't have my dates. but it was Pinocchio Unstrung, and portions of that actually had donkey characters walking around. Now, obviously, it's not going to be as intense or as scary as that was, but you could easily have like Lampwick with a mirror and donkey ears coming out of his head, and him freaking out. You could have Pinocchio walking around. You could have a whole bunch of like half human, half donkey hybrid people walking around scaring you, just like stomping at you and making donkey noises. What are donkey noises? What do donkeys sound like? Yeah, they'll just do that at you all day. Yeehaw, yeehaw. Like stomping at you and coming at you and stuff. You could have maybe like some marionettes in the trees or something.
Yeah.
You know, with Stromboli.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of really creepy, messed up things that are in that sequence and in the ride. You can have like audio loop of what is the name of the guy like who runs the place, who runs like Pleasure Island. I don't remember his name.
I haven't seen Pinocchio in a very long time.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but I remember like in the ride when you see him kind of like in the ticket booth thing, he goes, "Don't be a jackass." So you have like that in loop, just because I want to hear someone say jackass at a Disney park, other than the Pinocchio ride.
Yeah, no, that's super fun, super creepy. You could even have a part that it's not that part, but like, I don't know. I want to incorporate the whale.
Monstro?
Yeah.
Where?
I don't know. At the end, maybe it ends when you get eaten by the whale.
It's a scare zone. It doesn't really end.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
What if you just had like a Monstro walking around on two legs?
That'd be super scary. It'd be like it would be the left shark from like Katy Perry's Super Bowl halftime show, the one that just went nuts. Blah 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 blah.
And instead of it going, yeah, it would go, nom 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 nom.
Yeah.
It wants to eat you like it ate everybody else.
Okay, we've gone rogue. We should stop.
Definitely went rogue. So yeah, that's the last thing on mine, because my other backups were Hocus Pocus and, like I said, Return to Oz. So moving forward, let's go to mazes.
Wait, I had a runner-up.
Oh, you did? What was it?
My runner-up was Pirates of the Caribbean, the movies, not the ride. And I think it'd be super cool because you could have, like, you know, the half-skeleton guys. You could have the guys that are turning into sea creatures with, like, you know, starfish stuck to their face. And you could even have...
I'll show you my starfish.
Why are you so awkward? Didn't this happen the last one, too?
What, starfishes?
No, Awkward Gabe, I think happened the last podcast, too. And I think I called you out on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay. But I just think it'd be super creepy, and it could go, there's so many places it could go, and you know, it kind of lends itself to just a scare zone with like sea creature people just wandering around.
Yeah, and I think if we're basing this off of the films, you know, the last film, even though it wasn't that great, I think that the Javier Bardem character, the way he looked, was absolutely terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a very difficult thing to create physically, like in a prosthetic makeup, because he's floating. Like, literally the pieces of him are floating around. So maybe he could be represented in like projections, like in trees or something, you know, just kind of like jumping around or something. And obviously, because you have the fantastic music from the film, that would be great pulse pounding music to drive you through the experience of that scare zone.
Yeah, and you could just throw water at people.
It's the one area of the park where you just take a cup and you just throw it in somebody's face.
Yeah, like the whole scare zone.
Start again.
Yeah, like the whole scare zone is a splash zone.
Because of guests.
No, it's not guests throwing water at people. It's like they could have like water cannons in the bushes and stuff because it's pirates. It's all water.
Pirates are all water?
They're on the sea. Stop mocking me. It's a good idea.
I got you. First, I thought you meant like guests had free reign to throw water at people. Like, surprise! And just like throw water, and someone's like, "That wasn't water."
No, it would add to the suspense of the scare zone because you would never know if you were gonna get wet.
The suspense of getting splashed in the face with some water.
Hey, that's terrifying.
For you, it is. I don't give a shit. I'm good.
You would at like 1 a.m.
It would wake me up.
Okay, whatever. Let's move on. Mazes.
Forget about fog. It's all about water.
Pre-fog.
Pre-fog. It's called water, people. H2O. The precursor to fog, water. Water Alley at Scary Farm. Okay, mazes. Here's my first maze, and my mazes actually would make a lot of sense to you, just simply based on the fact that of what we've been watching recently. But my first maze is Toy Story, but not just Toy Story. Very specific part of Toy Story, Sid's room, and all of the weird, creepy, odd creatures that he's created from his toys.
I see what you did there. See, I didn't even think of that because it's not like a scary movie, but that's super cool. I like that.
Yeah, so like you would have the baby doll head on the spider legs. You would have the hooker, which is the legs on the fishing pole. You would have the hand in the Jack in the Box, the human head on that little rolly thing with the glove hands. There's so many different little weird, odd creature characters that you could create for that experience. And for me, it's all blacklight, because Sid's room has a lot of those like blacklight Spencer style posters that everything would need to be blacklight. And for it to all make sense, I feel like you would have, like, somewhere in the story you would have to be shrunken down to the size of a toy.
I don't even think you need to add it to the story. I think literally just like the front facade could be a giant door, so you get the idea of, okay, I'm toy size, or something like that.
What if the entrance? What if the entrance to the actual experience was like the front of Sid's house,
but like big?
It would feel big, yes.
Yeah, that would work.
I feel like it would have to be in like a soundstage type building in order to build something like that. You know, I have no idea how they would create something like that, or how to set up a scenario where you are now the size of a toy, unless it's just the suspension of disbelief of saying, I'm the size of a toy now because everything's real big.
That's exactly what they would have to do, because there's no, like, what would they have, like the Honey the Shrunk the Kids guy, like, you know, like at the entrance? No, like there's, you know,
what would he do
with his shrink gun? No, like,
and also his name's Wayne Zielinski. Get it right.
Wayne
Thank you very
Zielinski.
much.
I'm not
Part of the Imagination Institute. Thank you. Nikki's mad.
You need to not be know-it-all snarky. It's not nice. Okay?
Bleh.
Oh my god. Okay, well anyway, you know, I think you would have to suspend disbelief and just go with it. And also, we're not really talking about specific places in the park where this could be, because it could be Disneyland, it could be Walt Disney World, you know, so we're not talking specifics. So, it could totally be in a soundstage somewhere.
At Universal?
No, at like Walt Disney World.
Oh, I thought you meant anywhere. You said anywhere, so I got excited.
In Disney. Anywhere in Disney.
Imagine Universal Halloween Horror Nights doing like a Disney themed event, like 4 horror nights. Imagine them doing that. Like, imagine them putting on this particular maze. Like, imagine that actually happening. I feel like they would blow this one out of the water because it's actually genuinely fun.
They could do a good job. They really could.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my first one. However you would like to put it in that situation, but yes, that is it. Sid's room from Toy Story.
Okay. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer. My 3 mazes aren't particularly scary. They're kind of Halloween themed, or that season themed, but they're not scary because it is Disney, and, you know, I even have one that's very, like, child-oriented, you know, so that's just my disclaimer. I didn't try to think like you did, apparently, like, super scary. I just thought, like, oh, Halloween themed.
See, I honestly thought we were going to have a lot of overlap. I thought we were going to have a ton of overlap. But I'm actually glad that it didn't happen that way, because you were 100% correct. I immediately thought, what's the scariest thing I could think of that's Disney-oriented? I'm in a fire and my mother's dead, and I'm trying to escape. That's scary, right? That's terrifying.
What if it was a scare zone that's just the Stampede from The Lion King?
Your job is to escape alive.
It's just wildebeests everywhere.
You have to enter this maze with your father.
Terrible. Okay, let's go back to my...
He may or may not make it out at the end, just saying. And also look out for his brother. I wouldn't trust him.
Don't bring your uncle.
Yeah, don't bring your uncle at all. Your uncle's going to screw it all up for you.
Okay, going back to my wholesome maze choice. Yeah, I literally took a way different approach to this. And I also scrolled through Disney Plus A to Z looking for inspiration because I couldn't think of them any.
You guys hear that ambulance? It's somebody without a mask on.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to LA.
Or that was a cop. That's someone going to arrest someone walking down the street without a mask on.
There you go.
Okay. Well, anyway, back to our regularly scheduled maze selection
program.
My first maze is Coco.
Oh.
Yeah, and I thought, it fits in the season and everyone loves it, and you could start it out kind of sinister by having it start out like in the graveyard where Miguel is realizing that he can see skeletons and they're all like looming over him, and like that
kind of pissed off.
Yeah, and the music is really intense, and you could make it kind of scary and tense at the beginning, and then you can cross the flower bridge into the land of the dead, and there's skeletons everywhere, and you could have Alebrije in there. That could maybe be like a black light area, so they're super like colorful, and I just think there's a lot to work with, obviously.
You could easily have musical pieces in there because the movie is so musically oriented, obviously, regarding, just the story, but also there's a lot of really good songs in there. You could also have different scenes from the movie kind of play out where, like, Hector tries to run across the flower bridge, and he's like, darn flower bridge, and stuff because he can't get across. Or Ernesto de la Cruz getting thrown by Pepita over and hits, like, the bell. There's a lot of really, really fun moments in that movie that I think could be really cool to see in person in a maze environment. And like you said, you have the Alebrijes who, in the movie, they look like they're glowing all the time. So you would easily be able to create, black light puppet versions of Alebrijes. They already have a puppet version of Pepita in the Magic Happens parade at Disneyland. So, just put one of those in the maze. And you could also have, like, Dante when he becomes an Alebrije and he doesn't know how to, like, live at all.
He just kind of like
he just kind of like falls.
Yeah, you could totally just have him like kind of flittering around the background or something, like trying to fly. It'd be really funny.
Exactly. So, no, I definitely think that's a fun one. That's definitely family oriented. Very different than what I've chosen. I like that one, though.
Good.
So my next one, and this is the one I'm most excited about because I love the theme, and it is Friends on the Other Side from Princess and the Frog.
Oh, I like that. Because, okay, we've watched a lot of Princess and the Frog, and that part is super, like, intriguingly sinister and creepy and cool. So I love that idea.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Yeah, no, there's visually that sequence in the film is it stands out so much from the rest of the film. Mm-hmm. It becomes like psychedelic and bright and colorful, like you said, sinister. There's so much to it. You have a lot of really fun visuals to play with, and just like the last one, it would be blacklight because I think that would work well with all the bright colors, the purples, the pinks, the yellows, the greens, all that stuff. And for me, the way I envisioned it was the facade to the entire attraction would be like two giant, New Orleans buildings with an alleyway in the middle. And as you're walking down that alleyway, you hear, sinister noises and ghouls and laughing and like whispering throughout the entire walkway. And you could see like the shadow creatures going across the wall or peeking over the edges. And you get to his door and you have to go into Dr. Facilia's like office or like his room or whatever you want to call it. And you actually have to walk through the big mask mouth, and you go to the other side, because in the film you see what comes from the other side, but you never actually get to see what's on the other side. In this experience, you do. And you actually have to encounter Dr. Facilier multiple times, because at the end of the film, he gets sucked into the other side. He gets sucked into the graveyard and he has his like face on like the gravestone or whatever. So he's going to pop up throughout the experience, and some of his different versions of him are going to be like the version from that sequence where he has like the white face paint makeup and like the psychedelic colors all over his face. Mm-hmm. It just, there's so many visuals that'd be really cool to see, and also characters, having some like giant voodoo dolls or something, because the voodoo dolls in general, like if you actually pay attention, they're kind of creepy.
They are. They're super creepy. You could even have a part that's like the swamp, because the shadow creatures kind of like sneak and snake through the swamp to try to find, the froggies. So, even that could be creepy and fun.
Yeah, no, that's super duper fun. So yeah, that would be my my second maze for a Disney maze.
Can I just have 3 second mazes and they're all kind of runners up because I can't choose?
You can't. You have to choose one. That's the point. You have to choose one. How about you say them all, and then we choose which one to elaborate on.
Okay, and then
We'll do it together.
And then I do have a third one. Like I have a solid third one, but there's 3 in the middle that I'm kind of ambivalent about all 3 of them.
Okay, what are the 3, and we'll choose. And then everybody, if you're listening, make sure you say on social media which one you would have chosen.
Okay, so my 3 that I can't choose between because I don't really care are...
Thanks, Nikki.
Okay, Phantom of the Megaplex.
Oh, I have that on my list as a runner-up. Phantom of the Megaplex.
And then I kind of went really, really, really kiddie just for like the little kids, and I said Vampirina.
No.
And then Frankenweenie.
Oh, no. I'm really stuck between Frankenweenie and Phantom of the Megaplex.
See, and the thing is, I kind of needed help because I've only seen Frankenweenie once, so I didn't feel like I was qualified to give that as one of my options because I can't say like, oh, and you could have this scene or this scene because I don't remember it that well. And Phantom of the Megaplex is cool, and I think that would be fun, but it's so old school.
It's a callback for sure. I would lean into Phantom of the Megaplex. That's what I would probably lean into that.
Yeah, because you could have the maze be like going through the movie theater.
Like the lobby of the movie theater and stuff, and it could smell like popcorn and things.
Yeah, and you could have like sinister, weird things going on and happening throughout, all the scenes you're walking into and then finally like revealing the Phantom of the Megaplex at the end.
And it's Mickey Rooney.
Yeah, exactly.
There's probably a majority of people yelling at the radio right now saying, like, why didn't you just Frankenweenie?
Yeah, probably.
I'm going to Franken murder you.
I mean, and honestly, I was going through Disney Plus trying to find inspiration, and I was like, oh, Frankenweenie, I should watch that. And then I also wanted to put it on my list, but I barely remember it, so.
Yeah, I would definitely choose Phantom of the Megaplex, and I have to say I'm definitely biased because it's on my list as well. So, but that was actually a runner-up for me. Okay. So,
and I have one more runner-up that I just thought of, and I didn't see it on Disney Plus, so it might not be there. But Under Wraps.
That's also on my list. Under Wraps. Look at my list. Look at my list. It's right there.
Is that a runner-up?
Yeah, because I couldn't think of a third one, but I thought of a third one between writing this list and now, so we're fine.
Okay, cool.
And I think this will be very obvious to you once you actually hear it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I know what your third one is.
Could you name what my third one is?
Mr. Boogedy?
Hell yeah, it's Mr. Boogedy. You kidding me? Mr. Boogedy's amazing. 80s Disney Sunday night movie all about a haunted house. It is literally the perfect situation to be in.
I'm pretty sure you made up this whole podcast episode idea because you wanted to say Mr. Boogedy.
Shut up, Nikki. Shush. No. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That was pretty much it. No, Mr. Boogedy. And obviously the whole facade, like the opening to the entire experience would be the house. And you would have the realty sign out front where I think it's Lucifer Realty or something. Like it's a devil who's on like the ad sign. And you go in and you encounter the different characters from the film. You can mash up Boogedy and Bride of Boogedy easily. Because a lot of Boogedy in the beginning of the film isn't really like Boogedy based. It's kind of just ghost based. Like creepy small happenings, like floating items, gooey footsteps, a glowing door. But a lot of those visuals are easily translated to the real world. So you could easily walk down a hallway, and down the hallway at the very end, it's a green light around the door, bright and shining. That'd be really, really cool. You have the footsteps around. You could have you walk by a room where all the items are floating, and you have the mummy guy who comes alive, and he could run out and scare you. You could actually have Boogedy show up. You could have a room where the I don't remember the characters' names, but like the dad of the family, he gets possessed by Boogedy, and he's just floating around the room, but he's not totally like possessed by him. Like he's part not. Oh, wait, no, this is Bride of Boogedy too. Yeah, he's the fortune teller. He's like he's fighting it. You know, he's fighting Boogedy right now, which means that like part of him is still coming out. And something he would always say was, what does he say? He's like just kidding. So like he'd be like boo goody kidding, and like floating around the room doing that. So you could have that. You could have a lot of you could have Maid Marian and her kid, who are the two nice ghosts from it. Just to give a little bit of background of like nobody knows what Boogedy is. You need to go watch it for sure, but I'll give you a little bit of a wrap up of what it is.
Yeah, that's what I was literally just about to say. If you have no idea what Gabe is talking about, Mr. Boogedy is on Disney+.
Yes, it is. So basically, Mr. Boogedy is about a family that moves to this town. I think the town is called Lucifer Falls.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Lucifer Falls, the father of the family. It's the father, the mother, and the three kids, older sister, middle older brother, and little kid brother. He moves to this town to open up one of his gag stores, so Gag City. And he has a lot of like joke products like fake puke or, tripwires and things like that. So they buy a house that was a great deal, but it was actually a old house that is haunted, which is the reason why it's so cheap. And it's haunted by Maid Marian and her little boy and Mr. Boogedy. And the whole background behind them is that they were all pilgrims, and Mr. Boogedy was madly in love with Maid Marian, but she would never have him. So he sold his soul to the devil for a magic cloak to make her fall in love with him, but he was so dumb and didn't know how to use the cloak, so he blew themselves up. So now they're all ghosts haunting the house. And Mr. Boogedy actually has Maid Marian's little boy separated from her, so the ghost is always crying, wants to see her little boy again. So that's kind of the background behind the character, and the family just gets caught up in the middle. So that's pretty much it. But there's so many fun moments in the films that it lends itself to being a haunted house, because it literally is a haunted house.
Exactly. I actually should go back and watch this on Disney Plus, because the only version I've watched, because I never caught it when it was back on TV, the only version I've watched was your old VHS that still has the commercials, the old commercials in it, which is pretty fun, but it's VHS quality, so I should go watch it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it has all the commercials from like literally everything from the 80s, which is pretty fantastic. Like the Double Mint gum commercials, and even had like the Cadbury egg commercial where they were auditioning the new Cadbury bunny, but it was like all the different animals just wearing bunny ears, and it was like a lion, a dog, a cat, just a pig.
Did you hear who won the Cadbury bunny this year?
Who?
Lieutenant Dan. It's a 2-legged dog. I didn't make that up. That's true.
Lieutenant Dan?
Yeah. It's a dog missing his 2 back legs, and he has a little wheelchair.
Lieutenant Dan, ice cream, Lieutenant Dan. No, yeah. So Mr. Boogedy, that is definitely my choice. My runner-up that I didn't write down was, I feel like anybody would be pissed off at me if I didn't even say this, would be Nightmare Before Christmas. That clearly lends itself to an experience. The only reason why I didn't want to choose it is because the Haunted Mansion already turns into the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
So you get that during the holiday season, like Halloween and Christmas. So I didn't feel like I needed to put it down as like a haunted attraction.
That's exactly why it's not on my list, because of the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. So did you have runners-up? You said you had runners-up, right?
I never said my third one.
Yeah, I thought we chose your third one.
No, you chose my second one.
Oh, yeah, I went first.
Yeah. So
I can't count.
No. My third one is Halloween Town. Specifically Halloween Town 1. Not 2 or 3 or Halloween Town Garbage College Years or whatever.
Halloween Town * Garbage Town.
Where Marnie mysteriously became like someone else and no one cares,
So no Calabar's Revenge?
I think even they even recast Calabar or Calabar's son, or I don't know. It was weird. But anyway, that movie doesn't exist. But yeah, my third maze would be from the first Halloween Town. I think it'd be super cute. You could even have like recreate either like inside or have it be like an outside maze of like part of Halloween Town, and you could have like, townspeople walking around, and some of them would be nice, but then every once in a while you'd get like a one that was turned bad and they would like hiss at you or something. You could have like the pumpkins walking around with the wrap around his face because he has a toothache, and Benny, you could have Benny either like outside in his cab like honking and talking. Like that would be so cool.
You could have the werewolf who was giving haircuts and he has like a little piece missing because she shaved his head. And he's like, I think I can make this work. And he gets like super jazzed about it.
Exactly. Yes.
The big pumpkin in the middle of the town.
Of course. That's just a given. You have to have the pumpkin. But yeah, so there's so much you could do. You could have a bus stop, with creatures on a bus. There's so many things you could do. And it's kind of just, you have to do Halloween Town.
I feel like that would do really, really well literally at the beginning of Main Street. Like just in that section of Main Street at Disneyland or Walt Disney World, you have the pumpkin right in the middle and then everything else in that little surrounding area. Not going down the street, just that area.
Yeah. No, and I totally was flip-flopping between having this as a scare zone or a maze, and I think it could work as either. And you could even pull like something that Halloween Horror Nights does and have it be like half maze, half scare zone, because you know what they do that I don't like. But in this circumstance, I think it could work. So yeah, just make it a big thing.
For the people who aren't familiar with Halloween Town, at least the younger crowd, I think it would be really fun if they recreated moments from the movie and told like a story. So very much like Ghost Town Alive at Knott's Berry Farm, but within the storytelling of Halloween Town. Mm-hmm. So you would have Calabar and this I almost said Sanderson sisters, but the what are their names? It's escaping me. I said it earlier today. Marnie. What is Marnie's last name?
I don't remember
either. Anyway, that family, you could have them running around, Calabar like in his suit looking real nice, all that stuff. And eventually every like 30 minutes you could have like a show moment where like Calabar goes up on stage at the train station and says like, something's happening to the town, our townsfolk are going missing, something's happening, we're trying to figure it out. And eventually you could have like the evil version of Calabar show up and have like wind on him so his cloak is going all over the place, and eventually they reveal and they tear off his face and it's Calabar, and it's like, oh my god, why no? Yeah. And people freak out. It totally lends itself to having show moments like that, especially because those story beats are so iconic for us.
Yeah,
I think it would be really fun to have that.
No, I totally agree, and that would be, like you said, something super cool to have right by the train station, and with like the big pumpkin right there in the middle of the circle. So
yeah, I'm really mad that I can't think of the name of the family of witches that they are, like, at all, and it's really bothering me. I'm looking it up right now because I'm so mad. Halloween Town. Did I spell it right? I totally spelled it right. Halloween Town. It doesn't say in the summary. Why doesn't it say in the summary? I'm annoyed. Anyway, moving forward. Marnie. Marnie. Yeah, I don't remember the name of the family, but I remember they say it so often. Like, the family's power, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they say it all the time, and it is really annoying that I can't remember, but oh well.
So, Cromwell.
Yeah, Cromwell witches.
Yeah, I knew it. The reason why it came to my head was because I kept it in my head saying over and over again when she's talking to her younger brother, you're a Cromwell. Mm-hmm. You're a Cromwell. And he's like, I don't have powers. I'm not a witch, but I'm a wizard.
Didn't he have one of those calculator watches?
I think so. Yeah. He was like the typical nerd character, like very stereotypical nerd character.
You could have that pincushion secretary lady like walking around going, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and she keeps bumping into everything and like spinning in circles.
There's a lot of weird zany characters in that movie that you could easily put in there. And too bad you're not including the sequel, because you have that weird collector dude who's just like pissed off all the time because he has everybody's lost items, but they're all like nobody wants the lost items, or like a left sock or
Like
something.
socks. He has so many socks. Yeah, no, but
I have socks.
well, that's when he's all gray and
Yeah, I
dull.
know.
No, but you could totally do that as like a sequel maze next year. You gotta save something for future years, Gabe.
Yes, I know. Anyway, is that it? Do you have any runners up, or is that it?
That's it.
That brings us to the end of our list. How do you, everybody listening, how did we do? Did we do you proud? Because I feel like we did a pretty good job listing out some ideas that were, slightly obvious ones, like Mr. Boogedy, Halloween Town, Hocus Pocus, but also digging into some of these and trying to really pull out from the movies, or at least from the archives to a certain extent, with like silly symphonies. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that episode. I had a ton of fun trying to figure out what Disney would do for a Scare Zone or maze. And I really hope in the future at some point they do it, because I thought they did this in like Japan or some other country in one of their parks. They're creating like small, family-friendly, scary haunted houses.
Yeah, no, it's totally something they could do. I don't know if they ever will, but I don't know. We can hope and dream.
See, if it were me, I would say Disneyland, family-friendly. California Adventure, teen-oriented.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's fair.
So, who knows what the future holds, but don't hold your breath, because you might die from asphyxiation, because they'll never do it.
Lack of oxygen.
That's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning into this episode of the Theme Park Duo podcast. I don't know what the next one's going to be. I know that we definitely want to jump back onto the episode where we have our friend Eric, who had never been to Disneyland. He got very sick. Don't know if he had COVID-19 or not, but he got very sick, so we couldn't record the follow-up episode, but he feels better now, and we should be recording that very soon. Then we have another episode that we have planned to record with somebody from Scary Farm, and who has worked in many different haunts. So we have that to look forward to as well, staying in the Halloween realm. So during this quarantine time, that's the one thing that keeps us going, is haunt-oriented material. So, but thank you again for tuning in. Remember to always like and share us on social media, and if you haven't, make sure you follow us on social media. You can find us at Theme Park Duo on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you want to email us, you can always email us at
themeparkduo@gmail.com. If we forgot any, IPs that you are so offended that we didn't put on the list, please email us and let us know.
And include your best curse word in the title, because you're so mad. And then, like I said at the beginning of the show, it always is so helpful if everybody goes and rates and likes the show on iTunes or whatever platform you're listening to us on, because it helps us go up higher in the standing and makes it easier for everybody to find us and enjoy us like you are right now. But that is it for us here in the quarantine Montoya household. We have nowhere to go after this. I can't get away from you, Nikki.
I'm moving to the couch, so you can just stay in here.
I guess. I mean, that's like another country now at this point. It's so far away.
It's a long commute.
I need to take snacks for the drive. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening, and always remember,
there's always a great big beautiful tomorrow. See ya.
Thanks for riding with the Theme Park Duo. Make sure to gather all your belongings before the end of the podcast. Bye-bye.
Tonight on the Disney Sunday Movie, the Davises are moving into a new house
Definite fixer-upper.
where the tenants are deceased, but not departed.
This house is not haunted.
Keep an eye out for the Boogedy Man.
What boogity man? Boogity, boogity.
Now it's every man, woman, and child for himself.
I saw him! What a weirdo. Dad's gonna negotiate with Mr. Hamburger Face.
It's spirited family fun. Mr. Boogedy.
I'd move.
Good evening. Excuse me, I'm just finishing up a little work. Welcome to the Disney Sunday Movie. Now, I admit that tonight's feature, Mr. Boogedy, is a little weird. It's a family comedy all about ghosts, evil spirits, and a very haunted house. Now look at that. The guys in the special effects department here at the studio knew I was introducing Mr. Boogedy. And this is their idea of a little joke. Very funny guys. Pyrotechnics, wonderful, really. Phone book, hot telephone call. Nobody has a magnifying. Okay, fine chair, great. I'm keeping my coffee. Say, guys, this is not funny. This is not funny. I just hope you figured out a way to get me back by next week. Good night, guys.